Tonight, Republicans across the country are making it crystal clear. When they can't win over voters, they'll just try to redraw the maps instead. And Democrats? They appear to be abandoning the old when they go low, we go high approach to Republican gerrymandering. House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries told Politico this yesterday, and I am quoting, "We're going to win in November, and then we're going to crush their souls as it relates to the extremism that they are trying to unleash on the American people." Outside of D.C., the state-by-state redistricting wars are accelerating rapidly. Today, Black lawmakers in Georgia gathered at the state capitol to protest Republican Governor Brian Kemp's decision to call lawmakers back into special session next month to redraw congressional and state maps. South Carolina Republican Governor Henry McMaster also reversed course today, issuing an executive order calling lawmakers back for a special redistricting session. If Republicans succeed there, the new map could threaten the seat of longtime Democratic Congressman James Clyburn, one of the most senior and influential Black lawmakers in the country. And in Louisiana today, Republicans moved forward with another aggressive redistricting effort, advancing a new map that would likely give the GOP another House seat, while reducing the state to just one majority Black congressional district centered in New Orleans. Black lawmakers in Louisiana condemned the proposal as a racial gerrymander done at the direction of Donald Trump.
The people of Louisiana are going to remember this. The people of Louisiana will take action. We are setting our state and our country back more than 6 decades. We're going to ram this map down just because one man said, "I want this." You got double the number of congressional seats already, but you want another one because your policies are just so great. That must be the reason why we continuously rank at the bottom in education. Your policies are so great. That's why we do so great in healthcare and economic opportunity. Your policies are so great. That's why people are moving to Louisiana in droves. They can't wait to move here because the policies in Louisiana are so great. Make America great again.
So tonight, the redistricting fight is no longer confined to one state or even one region of the country. With Donald Trump behind them, Republicans in red states appear emboldened by the Supreme Court's decision and the fact that, unless they do something, the voters will remove them from power in Congress come November. They're banking on people not taking notice. But the protests and the pushback proves that voters are paying attention, which is why this moment matters so much. Back with us is Democratic Senator Cory Booker of New Jersey. Senator, as you well know, the Supreme Court, the Calais decision weakened Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, basically made it null and void. You warned the country was being sent backwards in time. When you look at what's happening in Louisiana, South Carolina, and now in Georgia, do you believe that warning is already becoming reality?
It is. We are seeing a Supreme Court, like they did in Plessy versus Ferguson, Korematsu. They are sending us back. Progress is not always linear. We've dealt with this before. And what they're doing, in effect, is eviscerating African-American leadership from the very states that were doing it back in the post-Reconstruction period. And so you cannot ignore that truth. They are perfectly, with surgical-like precision, drawing maps to cut out any Black representation that they can. And that, to me, dredges up a history of our martyrs of this nation for our democracy, people who were lynched, beaten, disappeared like Goodman, Cheney, and Schwerner. Mm-hmm. They are dredging up a really bad history as they change these maps that sends us back. And the only choice we have is take a lesson from those martyrs and those who sacrificed, a lesson from those on the Edmund Pettus Bridge who tear gas and billy clubs tried to beat back. A lesson from those in Birmingham who dogs and fire hoses tried to beat back. The lesson is we have overcome in the past and we can overcome now if we take this election coming up seriously and get ready to fight, to organize, and to mobilize.
Let me get your reaction to something that Janae Nelson, the leader of the LDF, their big dinner was tonight here in New York. The theme was "This is our democracy." And in her remarks, she said something that I thought was very powerful. She says, "We are not full citizens if our vote doesn't carry equal power to elect our own representatives. Elected leaders like those in Tennessee who stood up to tyranny can be stripped of their responsibilities, and we are not full citizens if we are punished for collectively using our vote to fight injustice. The most sacred parts of our Constitution are under attack, due process, so on and so forth." I mean, the key thing, we are not full citizens if our vote doesn't carry equal power.
It is 100% true. Even in Rucho versus Common Cause, when the Supreme Court said we can't do anything about partisan gerrymandering, but it is anti-democratic. The story of America, from the suffrage movement to the abolition movement, has always been about trying to bestow upon Americans equality of rights. The founders, as Martin Luther King said on the March on Washington, is a promissory note you wrote when you said all are created equal. And what we see time and time again, unfortunately, is leaders who try to thwart that democracy by trying to take power and concentrate it for the few against the many. And so they're trying to draw maps so that minorities of Republicans can still hold the majority of the seats. That's what's on the line here. This is not politics. This is not left versus right. This is democracy versus going back to a time when we did not have it. The only way we can meet this, though, is to take the lessons from the people who stood up, who were sick and tired of being sick and tired, who said we're going to make a way out of no way. This is really some time that we have to, all of us, decide what kind of country are we going to live in. Are we going to continue to go down deep into the quicksand and have our democracy swallowed up and lose what we take for granted, or will we fight for it?
Time for one more question, and this has to do with Fox News host Jesse Waters. He made a rather foul comment today about Black Americans. I want you to listen to what he had to say. We'll talk about it on the other side.
I did some research on the blacks, as Judge Jeanine so eloquently would say. The solution to Hakeem's problem, this gay Obama, is baby making. Blacks, for 150 years, have only represented 10 to 15% of the American population. Okay? That's not that much. So if they want to have more seats, they got to get in between the sheets.
I wanted to play that, as offensive as that is, so that the American people can hear what's being said in other places about fellow Americans, about us. You've talked about how people need to stand up, and they'll stand up at the ballot box. But what are Democrats going to do to push back against, there's no other way to call it, but a power grab by people who want to not only limit the votes of fellow Americans, but specifically want to limit the votes of African Americans, not only limit their votes, but take away their representation? What are Democrats going to do?
So first of all, I'm sorry, that was grotesque. And I pity him for having such a thwarted view of the world that he sees it as us versus them. It is the blacks, not fellow Americans, not love thy neighbor, but those other people who are trying to take something from me. That is such a dangerous perspective and in my opinion, cancerous one that is fueling the problem we have right now. And I know it's about the Democrats, but I'm one of these people that thinks the Democrats need their comeuppance as well. I get tired sometimes when I see the black legislators having a rally. No, I'm sorry. That's not what I came from. My mother told me stories about her sit-in and joining with people at Fisk. It was a rainbow coalition of people who finally understood is that, as James Baldwin wrote to the great Angela Davis when she was arrested, if they come for you in the morning, they're going to come for me at night. There are great leaders who make us understand that that poor, Southern rural person who happens to be white has as much of a common cause as an urban African American, that the immigrant and the Native American and the white American join common cause. The story of this American is fighting against the disgusting perspective of him and understanding that we are all in this together. And there cannot be a democracy secure for anyone unless the democracy is secure for everyone. This is not a black problem. It's not a Democratic problem. This is an America problem. And so rally now. What side are you on? Those trying to tear down our values and our ideals? Or are you going to start standing up and fighting for your country? Because I'm telling you right now, we're seeing the signs of a nation in danger. The warning signs are everywhere. Are you going to sit on the sideline and watch? Or are you going to fight for your country? Because everything every American has right now comes from folks who stood in times of crisis and fought for them. And everybody in this nation benefits from black scientists and inventors and people from different backgrounds. We're all in this together. And I will fight somebody like him, not in a physical way, but in a moral way. We will match his rhetoric with our ability to stand up and act to take back our country and get it back on track.
Senator Cory Booker of my home state, New Jersey, thank you very much for coming to The Last Word.
Thank you.